What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scare Writer Collective YouTube channel. So today's video, we're going to be going over the photo op diorama that recently got completed. Now, this is pretty much made out of stuff that was recycled or would have been thrown away if I didn't hold on to it. And I'll show you guys some tips and tricks along the way about how I made some of this stuff. So let's go ahead and jump back into the past and get on into it. So this is the base that we're starting out with. Now, this is just a tri-fold poster board that I had laying around. If you've seen any of my old videos, you'll know that I used to use this as a backdrop. I had it for quite a while now, ever since I started the channel. It's just been sitting around, so I decided to kind of cut it up and turn it into a photo op diorama. As you can see, it is a tri-fold display board. Now, this is just a piece that I cut off and then actually just taped it to create this corner. And the dimensions, I know it's going to be upside down for you guys. It says it opens up to 35.5 inches by 44 inches and 90.1 centimeter by 1.11 meters. So there's the corner. So we're going to put walls on this corner, and back here for the base, we're just going to paint it. So here you can see one of the walls that we got done. Now, this is just cardboard that I took the one of the sides off to expose that corrugated middle. So this is what it would look like on both sides. I peeled it off and just have this corrugated stuff to make metal for the walls. So essentially, this would have just been trash or recycled if I would have threw the cardboard away. Same with this old tri-fold display board. If I would have threw this away, it would have been trash. So this is another piece that I already took the face off of to get more of the corrugated cardboard to do more walls. So I'll explain how I do that. So as you can see, this is a piece I already started peeling to get some more of that corrugated cardboard to do more walls. So there's a couple ways that I've seen people do this. Now, one of the ways is people get this top layer wet, not soaking wet, but damp enough to where it starts to lift, and then they peel it off. I find my way to be probably simpler, but you do need some tools, and that being a kebab stick. Now, this is a pretty thick one, and that's the one you're gonna want to use. This is a thinner one. It does work, but it takes a lot of force to really separate in between those grooves to get this layer up, and as you see, they do break. So the thicker one is better. So I'll kind of show you guys what you got to do. So you have these holes here. You're going to want to stick it in and then push it. So you can see you push it in and it goes underneath. So you just peel that glue off. You can see how it goes in between those grooves of that corrugated cardboard. And then you can see it peels up. So I just do that on both sides. Stick it in as far as you can get it, and then pull it out. And again, and you can hear it. Now, you want to make sure you're following in the groove like this. You don't want to go down, because what you'll do is you'll poke through that other side and tear it up, and then you won't have any. And I'll kind of show you an example of that. So this is what it looks like when you go through to the bottom layer and start to actually peel that up. The whole thing just comes. So you want to try to stay within the groove. You can paint it. You don't want to do super wet coats or anything, because then it will leak through to the other side and peel that off. So here we are in the future, back from the past. You can see we got that corner wall, and then we finished, of course, our back wall here, and even got a nice garage door. And then there's the other panel for the back wall. And of course, just to fill in this space right here, I just used what was cut from the top here because there was some length left over. So I was able to reuse that to fill in that space there. Eventually, sometime in the future, I plan on putting some sort of shop name there. I had one drawn out, but I didn't really like the way it looked, so I'm just going to probably print that out later on. And so now let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff I added onto the walls and how I made that stuff. So if you've been building models for quite some time, then pretty much every model builder has some sort of leftover parts and leftover sprues, and maybe you find some junky stuff for a good deal, but you pick it up. You know, a lot of this stuff you could find at swap meets, just parts boxes, and you pick it up and you can use it for, you know, future stuff like this. And you never know when you'll find some sort of part. Like a lot of this stuff is car parts, like there's some mirrors and different lights and things. So, I mean, it's always good stuff to pick up. So the first thing I made out of the bits box that I have is this exterior exhaust fan. Now this is actually just two model car radiator shrouds for the fan. They're fan shrouds for the radiator. So you can see we got one in the back there is a piece, and then this front piece with the fan on it is another piece. And I just glued those together. Actually glued those together a while ago. And that's what they look like. Perfect exhaust fan for your buildings. And of course, I rusted them up. All this rust and stuff is just done with the Hobby Lobby rust set. That was like $7.99 for 10 bottles, I believe. And so that's where I got all the rust colors from. And that's what made it look aged. You can see I added some dripping down the walls and down here staining the concrete. And then we have some aging and a rust on the walls itself, as well as some graffiti that's been airbrushed on there. So you can see all the aging and rusting and stuff that I did along the walls with the rust set. And over here we have a electrical box with the conduit. So the conduit is just made out of a sprue. It's actually, I believe this is from a Gundam. Now again, this is one of those things that came from random parts. So I don't build Gundams. I mean, they're pretty cool, so I might build maybe one in the future. But I believe that's what this is a Gundam, like, accessories. So we got different hands and different plates of armor. But you can see there's a sprue here. So you can see that down, over, and then it went back down to here. So there we got the corner there, back, and then of course I cut it to size to kind of put it in that corner. So this is just actually sprue from a model kit. So of course you can use one from your automotive model car parts if you hold on to them. And then this is from the bits box. The power box itself is just from the bits box. I'm not sure what that even is from. So, I mean, again, one of those random parts that was in the parts bin that just came in handy. And then to kind of thicken it up, I added some circle styrene rod, and I just kind of slid it over that styrene sprue and kind of glued it on there, and of course glued it onto the wall and rusted it up. And again, we got some rust strips and down to the rusting staining concrete. And something that I didn't have from the parts box, or pretty much didn't make from trash, is these cameras here. This is just styrene. I hand built 2 cameras for some security. So we got this one right here, and it looks out over the garage door area, and it faces maybe what would be like other businesses. So if somebody walks up, you can of course have your area secured. And we got this one that's in the corner here, and again, it's rusted up with that Hobby Lobby weathering set, and it kind of shoots off over there, and again, just protects the property. So you can see that. Now these were actually really fun to build, and I'll go ahead and go over how I built them. So if you want to build some cameras, you can. So this is the styrene rod that we used for the conduit, and as well I made little collars on the bottom of the cameras. I'll try to get a video of that to show you guys, but I cut a really little piece of this off, really thin, to make the bottom part of the camera to kind of like have it, make it look like it had a rotating device on it. So I'll try to get a video of that. So at the very bottom of the camera, right before it gets to the pole, you can kind of see that circle bit. I know it's hard to really kind of see, but you can kind of see it. But that's what I made the little collar parts of the cameras out of, is the styrene tube as well. So I used the styrene rod multiple times. And then of course we got the arm of the camera. So I just melted this with a lighter and bent it to shape and glued it to the camera and the back plate. And the back plate is real simple. It's just sheet styrene. So here we have a sheet, and of course you just cut pieces off so you can get like whatever size you want. And I just cut them. It doesn't take much to cut through this stuff, so I just cut them really small to make that square backing plate. So you basically just, you know, push this down in there, and then there's a little piece of round styrene tube to kind of just make it look like it has a lens, and then that's just pushed down in there. And then to get that angled look on the lens there, like that slope that cameras would have to like kind of protect the lens from and like have shade on it, I just took a razor blade and cut it at an angle straight down, and then that's how I got that. And again, there's that backing plate, just a sheet of styrene cut in a square, and then that pole is just glued on there, and then it goes up and the collar sits over that, and then it's just glued to the body of the camera. So there we have our cameras. And of course they're rusted up as well. Now the graffiti, some of this graffiti I made stencils for, like the SRCs. This was just done by hand, the SRC. This ghost was just airbrushed, as well as like these little scribbles to make it look like people spray painted on there and somebody came and like crossed it off a little bit, or it's like just really old and faded stuff. So we have the boost. So I'll show you guys how I made the stencil. So for the boost, it's actually a 2-piece stencil that I made. It's just tracing paper, and then you draw out your design, put tracing paper over it, trace it onto the tracing paper, then put tape on it, and then cut it out with the razor blade. That way you have a stencil you can use. So there's the outline of the boost. And then all the shading is just this one right here. So again, you just put that on there, and I just taped it on and then just airbrushed over that as well. And then for the SRC, I just had one. And then on this corrugated stuff, when it's up and down, it's a lot harder to kind of get that look you're going for. When it's laying the other way, horizontal, it's a lot easier to kind of do what you want. But then we have just the ground. Just again, like I said, I've just painted it. So it's just gray paint. And then we got different oil stains, because of course this is a auto body shop. And of course somebody came out of the garage doing a burnout, and they've done donuts before right there. So you can see. And of course your shop diorama or outside of your building wouldn't be complete without a trash can and some trash. So you have some different options when it comes to your trash cans. This is one that is 3D printed. So the whole thing is 3D printed, and then of course I painted it and weathered it and did all the graffiti by hand. So you can see that's where the lids were on the base plate of the 3D printer, and you can see the bottom there, but everything's painted and weathered up. I just didn't do any graffiti on the back because it's just gonna sit in this corner here like so. And option 2, if you don't want to 3D print, have a 3D printer, or pay somebody to 3D print it, you can build one out of sheet styrene. Now, I'm not going to take credit for building this, as my son picked this up in a random parts box that had random parts and diorama stuff, and somebody actually scratch built this dumpster here, and then he painted it, and we put trash in it. So all this trash is handmade by me. And if you want to go an even simpler route to having trash cans and stuff like that, you can just take a oil drum from a model kit. There's some that have them, like the big rigs and stuff, or you can just pick one up, or you can find one maybe in a parts bin, who knows. But you just take your oil drum, you flip it around, and you can just stick a trash bag in there, and the trash bags are just made out of shopping bags. So I'll have a tutorial on that coming real soon if you guys are really interested in that. But I do plan on coming out with one just to kind of show you guys how I make the trash bags. So stay tuned for future videos on that. And then we got cardboard boxes in this one. Now, we did not make these, but you can get these files and print them out just on Google. Just look up parts boxes, and then it's best if you just print them out on cardstock paper. That way they hold up a little bit better, and then you can just glue them. But on this 3D printed trash can, it's so deep, I actually just made a false bottom out of some extra cardboard, and I built it up quite a bit, so I don't have to really fill it in that much with the fake trash as I did on that one there. Actually, that one's pretty deep. All the trash you see in that one is, you know, it's all trash. It's super deep. So again, just recycling your stuff and don't throw it away. And you can have stuff to make dioramas in the future. So of course, this is the end result. You can put your cars on it and get some shots of them outside of the shop. So you guys are going to be seeing this a lot at the end of some build videos. I'm going to be putting my cars on here and doing some photo shoots so you guys can kind of see it a little bit better and give it something a little bit cooler for you guys to look at. And myself, I really enjoy doing the scale model photography, and I really enjoy building these little diorama scenes. So hopefully you guys learned something and you guys enjoyed the video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and you guys maybe even learned something. Stay tuned till the very end because I'm going to be playing some photos that I took on this diorama right as soon as I got it finished. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for clicking on this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.